All right, we're in this. Welcome back to another Spider-Man 2 video. If you are new, I just gotta get out of the way. Go ahead and subscribe. We are literally 500 subscribers away from 50,000. I need it in 6 days. It's that freaking close. I know you guys can do it. So everybody that's new, go ahead and hit subscribe. Let's get into this. So we're gonna be talking about a few aspects of this game. The first thing we're gonna be talking about is Peter being asleep during this game and the symbiote taking over. I think that this is going to play a heavy part because this has happened in many Spider-Man media. Whenever he gets a symbiote, usually the thing will take over. I guess the best example would be the Spectacular Spider-Man one when he's fighting the Sinister. Oh, shit. And I've had a great idea too, where maybe when he gets a symbiote at first, or maybe around the first time he gets a symbiote, of course, there's a mission where you just go out. Peter's just not talking. Everything's kind of weird and you're just fighting villains, but you're being more brutal. And it's just very weird that Peter's not talking. And of course, later we figure out that he's actually sleeping and that the symbiote's really controlling him and that you're the one controlling him. It would be fucking insane. Maybe we even get a inner dialogue from the fucking symbiote itself. It's talking about his love for Peter. Oh man, that would be adorable. Another thing too that a lot of people have been theorizing is when he's chasing MJ too. That's the fact that he's actually asleep and he's like possessed by the freaking symbiote. And you could also see when you look and zoom in, his logo is different as well. So it's actually kind of low-key confirmed that the symbiote is going to be evolving. The symbiote suit's going to be changing and slowly maybe even taking over Peter more and more. And maybe that's what even this screenshot is too. When we start to see the tendrils everywhere, it's actually overtaking the logo and it's starting to really take over Spider-Man. So maybe that's the case. You know, Peter has to really deal with the symbiote trying to possess him. And that's one aspect of the game that I honestly would be very excited to see. I want to see how Peter deals with that. But the MJ mission, I think, is one of the coolest missions that we could have. Seeing him chase down MJ and just maybe even being MJ, I think that would be perfect. It is one of the best ways to bring back the MJ missions without it being redundant, without it being stupid, without it being slow and ruining the pacing, because I would be shitting bricks if I'm being chased down by this guy. Bro, leave me the fuck alone, dude. It's terrifying. It's a great, potential aspect of this game, seeing him actually, go out and just being possessed. And even still, you could have J. Jonah Jameson, if they bring back Just the Facts, you can have him talking about things that Spider-Man hasn't even freaking remembered. He's just freaking going out and doing things, and then Jay's picking up on that and talking about that, and people are like, well, those villains are like coming out, they're reacting to Peter, they're like, yesterday you were doing some crazy shit. We're like, what are you talking about yesterday? It could be a really fun way to play with that type of possession storyline, and I would love to see Peter be mentally just drawn to complete fucking thin lines. I want to see him, completely get torn apart by this thing. And then, of course, it kind of brings in the symbiote's personality too. Once he leaves, the symbiote kind of takes Peter's personality and puts it onto the next host. So that's going to be very interesting to see. I want to see how it slowly, evolves, how it slowly takes over Peter, and potentially even communicates with Peter in some ways. So that's one of the best and interesting aspects of this game. Another thing that I want to talk about too is secret villains. A lot of people are talking about freaking Big Will. I get it. I even said it.
Ferris wheel. Maybe he's disguising as a Ferris wheel on Coney Island, and the Ferris wheel comes to life, and now it's a big wheel going through the city. See, I'm just making this up on the spot.
And Big Will, Hydro Man, Screwball, they're all referenced in the beginning in the carnival thing, like right when the trailer first starts. So there are potentials of them potentially being in here. I still think my Big Will idea is the best, where maybe not in that mission where they're meeting up with Harry, but somewhere down in the game's story, or maybe a side mission, that big wheel literally detaches and he just starts rolling down Brooklyn and New York and freaking Coney Island. It would be amazing. That's such a good idea. And just having Miles or Peter go down there and try to freaking web them up and stuff like that, it would be a great idea. I think that's one of the best aspects. But here's the thing, is that I think they're too goofy for this game. Maybe, potentially, there'll be a good Miles side mission, and maybe they'll do that for like an after game side mission. But story-wise, I can't see Big Will or even Hydro Man in this game. It just doesn't really make sense. Maybe in the next game when they lighten things up without the symbiote. But right now, I personally just don't see those villains, the smaller villains, the goofier villains, even potentially Screwball. I don't even see Screwball being in this game. So there are many things that they are referencing right now that might not be in here, but maybe they are putting it right in our face, and it is going to be in here. I don't know. I'm interested to see Big Will if they do that. You know, I feel like my idea is the best. Either way, I want to see that character. Another one is Morbius. I think Morbius. Of course, we had Michael Morbius or Morbin. What the fuck was his name? Whatever it says on the screen. You know, we had that guy, and he's technically Morbius. So I feel like, you know, even Peter references how he looks bad, how he has his own genetic disease. So potentially he could come back and be Morbius, or somehow use a symbiote, or maybe Norman uses him in some way again. I don't even know, but I feel like in some way, shape, or form, they're definitely going to use him again in this universe. And if there's any time to do it, if there's any storyline to really bring in Morbius, I feel like now would be the perfect timing to do it. So maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. I feel like that he will return in this game as a side character or some type of character in some way, shape, or form, but we'll have to wait and see. And the last one, the last secret villain that I think could be in this game is, of course, anti-venom. I think anti-venom really does make sense. The fact that they even confirm that Martin Lee is in this game, you know, Mr. Negative, who is the literal quintessential person that made the fucking anti-venom to begin with. He's the one that is the reason for why anti-venom even exists, and he's the reason why Eddie is basically cured for cancer. There's many things with the anti-venom character that might suck, but it could be a good way to subvert expectations. Everybody's expecting Harry to be Venom. Everybody's saying this. Oh, the story trailer confirmed it. He's essentially, but what if they're really yanking our chain? And Eddie is in this game. You know, Harry might still get the Venom symbiote in the beginning, right? He loses it to Peter, and then he might get it back, maybe. But what if he somehow magically got cured by Martin Lee before he loses the symbiote? So he gets cured, Peter gets it, and then the last symbiote host is actually Eddie. And all the expectations are Harry, Harry, Harry. But it's actually, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, they could easily be lying to us in multiple ways in the trailer. We don't know the whole role of, you know, Harry, Norman. We don't know the whole role of Martin Lee, so we'll have to wait and see. I still think anti-venom is one of those characters that right now is literally perfect to do, and you have the perfect character who has a disease that can't be cured by anything that's known to man. So what would happen? Bring the symbiote, bring Martin Lee, mix them together, fucking anti-venom. There you go. You cured Harry, and now you can bring in Eddie and make him the main host. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. And I feel like they might do this in this game. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Honestly, I feel like there's so much potential for what they could do for this game in multiple ways. For missions with MJ and Peter, you know, being asleep, with, of course, the secret villains that we might get in this game. Depending on what they do, I'm very interested. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Tell me what secret villains you want to see in the comments below. And I'll see you guys on my next one. Peace out.